Welcome back to the YS Idea Lab. My name is Josh with DownloadYouthMinistry.com. We're excited to be here at the National Youth Workers Convention in San Diego, California. With me today is Derry Prenkert. How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Now, you're here this morning to talk about the 4 ways to take camp to the next level. But before we jump into that, tell everybody who you are.
Sure. I'm a student ministries pastor at a church, Napanee Missionary Church, Napanee, Indiana, Northern Indiana, Amish country. Our town motto is embrace the pace.
Okay.
So,
which is the slow pace,
exactly,
I would think.
Exactly.
All right.
But been there for a while, and in our ministry, we deeply value what can happen through summer camps, retreats overall.
Very cool. So you probably do like a winter camp, a summer camp. What else? Is that kind of the camp schedule?
Those are our 2 major things we'll do, but we also throw in retreats and other trips. Some stuff I want to share with you are a specific 2 camps, but can transfer over to any trip that you're going to do.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited that you'll share your learnings with us today here in the studio audience, as well as those that will watch online. So why don't you walk us through the 4 ways to take camp to the next level? I want to learn. I'm a youth pastor, too. I run summer camp every year, so help me take it to the next level.
Great. You know, I think when we think about camps or retreats, one of the things that I realize is there's those of us that plan our own, and then there's those of us who, when we're doing something, we're tying into something that's being offered. So you're tying into an organization, a parachurch organization that's putting it on.
Yeah, I've done both, and there's strengths and weaknesses to both.
Absolutely. So what I'm trying to do as we walk through these are hopefully they can transfer to either or. So
very cool.
Let's start with the first one. The first one I think is it's more in the planning phase, but as you approach how you're going to, what you actually want to accomplish with this is to think with a Theyre Here mindset. I call it a Theyre Here mindset.
Don't know what that means, so unpack it a little bit.
So basically, it's just asking the question, we're going to go there, and while we're there, what do we want to happen that we bring back here?
Oh, I like that.
Real basic, but I think sometimes we get so caught up in creating the moments. You know, I cried at the altar. I had this encounter with Jesus. I created all these great memories.
Thursday night, we call it Cry Night in our church.
No way. We do too. Our students have labeled it that, and it just drives me nuts. But yeah, so how do we make it something more? So here's a couple ideas. One would be a simple thing, but trying to start movements and initiatives while at the camp. So here's an example. We encountered a ministry called Claim Your Campus. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the goal is to have prayer going every day at your local school, and it's a student-led initiative. And so what we said is rather than talking about that while we're at home, let's actually talk about it at camp and challenge the students to prayer, and then set up the stuff for when they get home so they know what they need to do.
So you're launching it there, but you're doing something that's going to really show up back home. So you don't have just this mountaintop experience.
Exactly.
You're doing something that carries on throughout the whole year.
Exactly.
Rad.
Yeah, so here's another one along the same idea, is every camp, what we do the last day of camp, so we have the kids write a letter to themselves. Real basic thing. I think others have done it, but what I love now is watching a junior hire trying to self-address an envelope. That alone's worth doing it because you'll get the address up in the top corner. Anyway, what they do is they write a letter.
Or they don't even know their home address. We've had that too. They're like, where do I live?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had to use this before.
Yeah, a little note, take along their addresses because that seriously does happen. But what we do is they write the letter themselves. We hold on to it, and then we'll pick a date that we're going to mail it to them. We tell them, hey, you're going to get this like the week that school starts. So what do you want yourself to hear the week before school starts that you had happen here? And that helps what happened there to come back here.
That's a great idea. What's the second way to take camps to the next
level? Second one is, I lost my screen here. All right, it's creating corporate traditions.
Yeah.
Creating corporate traditions, and what I mean by that is you more than likely you're going to go back again and again. So what can you do that creates like that laugh moment, the smile moment, but also you start to build this idea of I want to go back, and I want my friends to experience what we experienced.
Yeah, I love it.
So let me give you some examples of ones for us. We at our summer camp, we go to an amusement park. Cedar Point's up by our area, and
Sandusky, Ohio.
Sandusky, Ohio.
Love the Cedar Point.
Famous.
I don't fit into a lot of the roller coasters, but it's a really good time.
Famous for Cedar Point and Tommy Boy, actually. Did you know that? That's the hometown of Tommy Boy.
Thank you for that little bit of youth ministry goodness.
So we go to there, and what we do is actually at the end of the day, we have all our campers come together. A lot of times you go to Cedar Point, you spread out, and we say, no, we're going to spend the last 3 hours together, and we go on rides all together.
Fun.
And then the other thing we do is we do a flash mob. We plan a flash mob ahead of time. The one that's been the most successful is the 5-minute freeze. And what we do is the kids just spread out, and we have a queue, and they all just freeze in place for 5 minutes, and everybody's walking by wondering what in the world's going on.
That's a great idea.
So again, just a corporate moment. There's other ones you can do. We at our wintertime one, we'll often do a late night bro time with pulling everybody together, or maybe even pulling the girls together and do some things. One of our camps is a girls' sunrise worship service. So it's a tradition, is what we're trying to do. Something that they come back to. And that they can draw off
I love it. Even as you're talking about it, I'm reflecting on our own summer camp, and we do this thing called awkward stretches in the morning. It's during our morning devotional time, and everyone just tries to get the most awkward, poses and stretches that they can do. It's hilarious. We sing a song called Jesus in Your Boat, which no one's ever heard of, but it's our tradition, and it's brilliant. And then we kind of added a new one this year. It's called it's a game called Jigapuff. And it's a free game. If you Google Jigapuff, you can find it. It's on my blog. You can download it. And it's just a hilarious tradition that we do every single year. I'm loving this way to take camp to the next level. I feel it. We're doing it.
Yeah, summer, before meals, we have to sing a song. And everybody has to sing. And it's usually the cheesy, like when you're a little kid, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart, or Little Cabin in the Woods. I don't know if you know that one. So we do those. And the kids have embraced it because it's even though it's ridiculous, they've embraced it because it's
but
tradition.
It's awesome. Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. Give me the third way to take camp to the next level.
I think a huge one is we go and we fill up our schedule with so much that I think it's valuable to remember to create intentional open space.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is not so much about free time, but breathe time. We
cool.
We love to give free time where we're saying go and play more, but what I'm talking about is breathe time. So here's two things we've done with not just our camps, but any trip we do that we really value is we won't do a trip unless we can find a space of time every day where students can get on their own and spend some time in devotional time. And just, we call it Time Alone with God, TOG for short. And the goal in that is something that they can do at home as well.
Time alone with God. TOG.
Yeah,
all right, good.
There you go.
I thought it was talk. I was like, oh, that's cool. Nope, TOG is not cool. All right, good.
So we do that. The other one is at night. The last thing we do is get them together with however they're housed. And sometimes we love the idea of let's make this last great event. Well, instead, let's let the last thing they do is debrief the day, what stuck out to them, what they're wrestling through, what God's teaching them. And so actually what we've decided is morning, time alone with God, night, cabin group, cottage group, hotel group, whatever it is, group time. So you start just creating space to get with Jesus and end by debriefing.
Derry, I think that's a really good point. And even from my own experience, I think this is the one that I've failed in the most. Like, I love camp. I love programs. I love big lights, action, pack it all in. And I think students need a little time to detox from some of that as well, and to relax and to kind of just center themselves on the Lord, spend some time with Him. And I am the guy who likes to go, fill the schedule to the max, and I think it can almost burn students out too.
Absolutely.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and to go back to the first one of the Theyre Here, the thing I love about Time Alone with God is we'll try to find a devotional, or we'll even create our own, that's one that they start there, and then it has 2 to 4 weeks afterward that when they get home, they can keep going with it.
Yeah, it's official. You're a better youth pastor than I am. So anyhow, take us into the finish line. You got the last thing, fourth way to take camps to the next level.
I think this is one of the one we've discovered has been the most valuable. It's bring parents on the journey. And what I mean is don't take your parents to camp with you, because then all they're going to do is tell you what you're doing wrong. No. What I mean is
3 out of the 4 ideas were good. So that's...
What I mean is find ways to make sure parents know what's going on. And here's just a few ideas. Set up a blog, or maybe you have a Facebook page for your student ministries, or your own Facebook profile, wherever it is, where you can be reporting back on some of the things that are happening while you're at camp.
Cool.
Not just so they can know that Tommy's okay, but here's a picture of this moment, powerful moment that happened, and when your kid gets home, ask them about it. So you're setting them up on what they know is going on. Another one that actually I totally stole from this youth pastor, that he works in California at a church that has something to do with horses, Saddleback, I think his name is.
Sounds like a great guy.
Yeah. I've heard he's a jerk, but... No. Anyway, I saw
You're a jerk. That's no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I saw that you wrote, I think it was an email back to parents while you were at camp. We've done it in a letter format. Actually, write it ahead of time, but they get a letter. Parents get a letter while we're at camp that says, hey, we just want to let you know, here's some things that are going on. Understand, your student is going to come back different, but you're going to see the ugly part of them because they're at home.
That's cool.
Be careful to not call them out, oh, I heard you went to camp and got Jesus, but this is how you're going to act. Just some encouragements of how they can really go along the journey. So we do that, and then the last thing we do, and I would encourage trying this if you can pull it off, we hold the luggage hostage. So we have a separate luggage vehicle that just intentionally shows up late because we ask all the parents to come inside, and our students and parents sit together, and we just do a 30-minute camp report. And so parents and students, and we get to help start the conversation. What we do is say, hey, here's some different things that happen at camp. Here's some students that are going to share some stories of what Jesus taught them. And then hopefully, and we make it really clear, this is just the beginning of the conversation. Now our hope is you can go home. What we've done is we've set up the student to begin the conversation because it's so hard for them. So,
Derry, I'm not going to lie to you. This has been my favorite one so far. This is my favorite, very favorite YS Idea Lab. Super practical, super helpful. And honestly, I want to take some of these ideas home to our ministry immediately this summer. So thank you very much for your time. Great. This has been the YS Idea Lab. We'll see you next time.